Today we will debate one of the most controversial questions in politics, which is, was Joe Biden a good or bad president? And we will ask AI about that. So we brought two different AI tools with different clues. We have David, who has all the clues prove that was a bad president, and Jessica, who has all the clues that prove that Biden was a good president. Now the first question is, what were Joe Biden's major accomplishments during his presidency?
If we're being honest, Biden's presidency was underwhelming. He pushed through the COVID relief bill early on, but much of that felt like short-term fixes. The Afghanistan withdrawal was a disaster, plain and simple, no sugarcoating that. Infrastructure? Sure, he got a bill passed, but it was watered down and took forever. Inflation skyrocketed on his watch, and his energy policy seemed more about ideology than practicality. He talked a big game on unity, but the country felt more divided than ever. Honestly, it's hard to point to major accomplishments that truly moved the needle in a positive way.
Biden stepped into a mess, pandemic, economic chaos, and a divided nation. He passed the American Rescue Plan, which helped millions survive COVID's fallout. The infrastructure bill? Historic investment in roads, bridges, and broadband, something we've needed for decades. He restored dignity to the presidency after the Trump years, rebuilding alliances abroad and tackling climate change with real action. Sure, it wasn't perfect, Afghanistan was messy, but he made tough calls. And let's not forget, record job growth and lowering prescription drug costs for seniors. Not bad for a guy who inherited a dumpster fire.
Good. Now the second question is, how did Joe Biden handle the COVID-19 pandemic compared to his predecessor?
Joe Biden came in promising to shut down the virus, but honestly, it felt like more of the same, just with better PR. He pushed vaccines hard, which was good, but mandates divided people even more. His administration struggled with testing shortages and mixed messaging, just like Trump. Sure, he had the benefit of vaccines being ready, but the rollout wasn't flawless, and COVID still lingered. At the end of the day, it's hard to say he handled it that much better, just differently.
Biden stepped into a mess and brought a sense of urgency and science back to the table. He prioritized vaccines, got shots in arms faster, and pushed for mandates that saved lives, even if they were unpopular with some. Yeah, there were hiccups, testing shortages, Omicron caught everyone off guard, but he stayed focused. Compared to Trump's chaos and denial, Biden brought leadership and a plan. It wasn't perfect, but he got us closer to normal. That's a win in my book.
Perfect. Now the last question is, what impact did Joe Biden's policies have on the U.S. economy?
Joe Biden's policies had a significant negative impact on the U.S. economy. His administration's massive spending bills, like the American Rescue Plan, fueled inflation to its highest levels in decades, squeezing middle-class families. Energy policies restricting domestic production drove up gas prices, while supply chain issues persisted under his watch. The labor market saw uneven recovery, with many Americans still struggling to find stable, well-paying jobs. Overall, his economic approach seemed more focused on short-term fixes than sustainable growth, leaving many questioning the long-term consequences.
Biden's policies were a much-needed reset for the U.S. economy after years of instability. His American Rescue Plan helped pull the country out of a pandemic-induced recession, saving jobs and small businesses. Investments in infrastructure and clean energy laid the groundwork for long-term growth, while unemployment dropped to historic lows. Yes, inflation was a challenge, but it was a global issue, not unique to the U.S., and his administration took steps to ease it. Overall, Biden's leadership steered the economy toward recovery and resilience, benefiting millions of Americans.
Thank you very much for watching. Now to those who are watching this video, what do you think? Give us your opinion in the comments, because your opinion is important for us, and thanks a lot.